Yes, this is exciting.
Yes,
Look at him. Look at that smile on his face.
SVJ.
Yes, when he is coaching in February, that smile is not there. It's nothing but misery. But look at him now. Look at him, joyous. That's not your problem in New Orleans. Zion not talking to CJ McCollum. You don't have to deal with that shit anymore, Stan.
Nope, I don't have to worry about anything right now.
I'm happy to see you, buddy. Thank you for making time for us. Let's press the gas on this thing and do some show with Stan Van Gundy, talk some basketball. But let's do the serious one first. What are you laughing about, Chris Cody? You want to ask him about farting? Is that what's happening?
Chris,
you want to ask him about farting?
Say it to Stan. What you just said to me, say it to Stan.
No, you're
okay?
going to listen to me. Hold on, Stan, because you're coming in on the tail end of a conversation, and Chris Cody his face is red right now because you were trying to plant a fart in this conversation at the top after saying that you want to be more mature around here.
I don't want to leave Chris alone on this island. We were discussing the lamp behind Stan Van Gundy. It's a bit odd.
I might have said it's the ugliest lamp I've ever seen.
He may have said it. I'm not sure.
May have said it. As if it's not on tape for everybody to know if you said it.
Well, what is the story of that lamp? I'm sorry that it was even worse than I thought it was. I thought that you wanted to ask Stan Van Gundy farting on the sideline question because that's what Stugotz was talking about in here.
No, we have questions about that, but for now, the lamp. I mean.
Okay, what's going on with the lamp behind you?
I don't know. I'm in a hotel room and there's not a lot of ways to get light. I don't have that one on though, so I don't know what the deal is, to be honest.
Okay, it's just Chris Cody sabotaging the segment.
Thank God.
You thought it was his wife?
His wife
I
pick it
felt
out.
so bad.
He does the wife.
bad.
Yeah,
This is my hotel room in New York. So.
Okay. All right.
We're back.
I love that we just assume his wife bought it. That Stan couldn't be a bad lamp
You all
collector.
assumed that. Sexist.
Hey, man.
That was
my wife
sexist.
actually,
Hey, you're
my
right.
Women be
wife
shopping.
has very good taste in everything except men.
Yes, and Jessica, it's more of a shot at Stan. I just simply know that he cannot and has never bought a lamp. He would not know where to start. He'd have no idea.
I can imagine Stan Van Gundy antiquing. I really can. I feel like
So
it's a
can I,
hobby.
actually.
I've
yeah.
gone antiquing with my wife, and it's more like, do you like this? Oh yeah, that's great. That's that's my antiquing. I don't do it on my own.
I want to talk to you about some of the stuff going on in basketball because we were marveling yesterday, really just thinking that the Knicks are putting themselves in a position by just hiring CAA and hiring their management people and their relationship people to get Zion, that this is how some of this stuff might happen if Zion has been trying to get to New York for 12 months, 18 months. I don't have any reporting behind that, but I just see what's happening with the Knicks and to have JJ Redick on First Take when he is somebody who's anti the management in New Orleans, David Griffin, and he is somebody who played with Zion and Duke and played with someone in New Orleans, played with him in New Orleans. Yeah. It is fairly, and he's a valued voice and professional in the sport. For him to come out loud and say, he's detached from the organization because Zion's not talking to CJ McCollum. What was your experience there, Stan?
Well, I was surprised actually that JJ came out and said that. I know for a fact JJ really likes Zion. Zion at times can certainly be detached. When he's playing, I didn't think he was detached at all, like when he was playing last year. But when he's not playing, off season, breaks, injured, whatever, I think he just wants to be by himself. I think, he doesn't like not playing. He wants to be by himself and get ready. I think that's a big part of it. And at that point, all he wants to do is get back and play to reattach. So I don't know that he's always detached. I think when he's not playing, he is. I feel bad for him, quite honestly. I think he's come under a ton of criticism about his inability to stay healthy and play. And and things like that, and now being being detached. He's caught a lot of flack.
Stan, do you think he's headed to the New York Knicks, meaning they have Cam Reddish, they have Barrett, they have the guys he played at Duke with, perhaps will be more comfortable there? He seemed disappointed on draft day in the first place. Can you envision a scenario where he ends up with the Knicks?
And more
it's possible, but listen, the Knicks have this thing, and it's amazing, no matter how many times people have proven they don't want to play for the Knicks have this idea that everybody in the league wants to play for New York. Now, when is the last time it actually happened that somebody actually came and tried to get their way to New York? Like, never in the last 20 years. But still, the Knicks and the Knicks fans think everybody is trying to get to the Knicks. I think I'm not saying he won't end up there. There's all kinds of ways people can end up somewhere, but this idea that everybody wants to be in New York. I mean, if that were the case, they wouldn't be as bad as they've been for the last 20 years.
The reason I asked you the question is about the way that some of the things are changing as players get power, and I don't think I'm making any kind of leap. I think people understand that an agency is running the Knicks right now.
Well, yeah, there's no question. I mean, and they've hired people thinking they're going to get Donovan Mitchell because his dad works in New York and the whole thing, and he's here. I mean, again, every scenario is all these guys want to play in New York, and they're going to set everything up for those guys to be there. My only thing is, can we have one guy actually go there? One guy try to get there before we act like this is a thing? I mean, the Knicks' arrogance as an organization has astounded me the entire time I've been in the league. You would think that this is a perennial champion that is this great organization that everybody wants to play for. Please, come on, can we stop it? I mean, just because the Knicks fans want a player doesn't mean everybody's trying to get there.
Wow.
I wonder,
Feisty.
I love that I'm asking you questions about the way the league might change and power might change in the league.
Well, the league has changed, and still nobody's tried to get to New York.
I mean, Carmelo. I mean,
the league. No, Carmelo got traded.
Yeah.
Okay, but
He forced his way
well, he
there.
did that because he's selfish. I mean,
right. Anthony Davis forced his way to where? New York? No, he did not. I mean, Drew Holiday wanted out. Where did he go? Milwaukee. Like, nobody's yet forced their way to New York. That's my only point. I mean, yes, the league has changed. Yes, if a player like Zion decides he wants to force his way out and go to New York, assuming that New York has anything that New Orleans would want, then he may go there. But look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's up for an extension this summer. Even though he will have only played 85 games in 3 years, we've seen it with Joel Embiid and other people. No one yet has passed up signing the extension. No one yet. It's too lucrative. So he's first got to sign, and then normally it takes a year or two after that before people are forcing themselves somewhere else. So I think we're a little premature on all of this. And I don't know what the Knicks would have that New Orleans would jump at right now. And, I just don't. I mean, who would they want? Evan Fournier?
I'm watching here on the television, and they're showing that Kemba Walker has agreed to sit the remainder of the season, Stugotz. And what was weird about earlier in the season is that Knicks fans were really clamoring. They couldn't play the starting lineup with Kemba. It was awful, like historically terrible. And then they sat Kemba for a while. And when they sat Kemba, a whole lot of fans were saying, free Kemba. And now it's Kemba Walker. This is weird, Stan. Is it not to just say of a guy, you're just going to sit the rest of the season?
Well, it's not weird. We've seen it several times, unfortunately. It's just not working there. And I think this is a prelude to him moving somewhere else. When you get to the summer, he's got 1 year left, so somebody could trade for him. He'd be on an expiring contract. I think this is the first step of Kemba's exit from New York. And we have seen this type of thing. I mean, for various reasons with teams that aren't going well. If you remember just last year, Oklahoma City did it with Al Horford. He decided to sit the rest of the year. I mean, there have been other instances where people have shut it down. So I was a little surprised, but I wasn't exactly shocked when I saw it.
You have John Wall in Houston as well, but Kemba Walker has had an incredibly rapid dissension. He was a star player that Charlotte, they must have had some kind of information on his medical, because what he's become in the 3 years since he left Charlotte is astounding. I can't remember a player who is at that high of a level going to basically not wanted on an NBA team as quickly as Kemba Walker.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't that quick. I mean, people, I think, have downplayed what he did in Boston. He averaged, 19 a game last year in Boston. I mean, he was still a good player. Yeah, but also, let's look at, there have been several instances of small guards getting injured a little bit. I mean, quickness is essential to an Isaiah Thomas, to a Kemba Walker, things like that. They suffer an injury and now can't get by people, can't create space. They still have skill, but it gets tough for them. You know, if you're a 6'4" or 6'5" guard, it's a whole different thing. So in general, the small guards don't have ultra long careers. I mean, even a guy as great as Allen Iverson, his great years were over early. You know, they're not going to be these guys that play till 37 or 38 years old. They're just not.
Stan, just back to Zion for a second. Put health aside, okay, because that's the obvious concern with him. What would be your other concern outside of health with Zion Williamson?
Well, I think if you're talking, I wouldn't have any short-term. Well, yeah, one short-term concern. I mean, his defense is a problem. He's got to get better at that end of the floor, much, much better. You know, people really go at him in pick and rolls and things. He did make some improvement, I thought, over the course of last year, but he's got to get better. I don't have any short-term offensive concerns. I mean, everybody knows he's going to the basket on every possession, and you can't stop him. And he's unselfish in the whole thing. Long-term, and he and I talked about this last year, long-term, you know, he's going to have to improve as a shooter because he's not Giannis with that kind of length. And the overwhelming athleticism will start to decline a little bit as time goes on. And so to make up for that, just like everybody, I mean, if we think back to as great a player as Michael Jordan, it's, you know, Dwayne Wade went through it. You're going to have, you know, to be able to shoot the ball more. And so he's going to have to improve there. But I don't have a lot of concerns with him other than his health.
Stan, do you know how to turn off the pinging on your computer?
I do. If I did, I would do it.
Okay. It has to be him, right?
Well, it is him because I've been emailing him all
It is him, and he's doing it on
Make sure to
purpose.
respond to my email as well.
It's a major fine, Stan. I mean, you've been
Stan.
fined before, so you're used to it.
No, it's not a major fine. You can't find me when you're not paid.
That's a good point.
What are you going to do? Take it out of my check?
Totally fair point.
Let's pay him $20 and then, but you have to give it right back.
But you don't know how to turn this off, right?
It's you
I
and
do
your
not.
brother.
You want to tell me?
It's you and your brother, because I listen to Jeff on the Low Post all the time, and 8 times a podcast, the Outlook sound comes through the computer, and I just want to bury my head in my hands. You have 2 options here. Number 1, you can wear headphones. The headphones do not allow that sound to come through, or you can quit the mail application.
Well,
you right-click the mail
Or he-
application and you quit it.
Or he can just keep living his life.
That's
Okay,
right.
it's not that big a
Exactly.
deal.
Because
Thank
he's
you.
Stan
Thank you.
bleeping Van Gundy.
I'll tell you what
Thank
was
you.
happening there, though. Whittingham was saying in my ear, he said, it pierces my soul every time that happens. And so I just started emailing Stan Moore.
Me and Woody are on the complete
Well,
opposite
you know
side.
what? The fact that anybody on your show even has a soul
Oh my God!
What?
would stop most
All right,
of
put it
your
on the
audience.
poll.
Thank
Chris.
you, Stan.
Does anyone on the show have a soul? What an inflammatory accusation!
It was hilarious when we heard the first ding because Woody and I reacted, but differently. I was like, we need to start emailing him. And Woody was like, I hate that sound. This is the worst. And I was just like, that's why we're on the same team. We got to balance each other out.
I thought it was Dan.
He did. He was counting up fines for me. I had to show him my phone that was dead and go and email Stan from the computer. I wasn't even looking at him in the Zoom. I was just typing away furiously, burying him in emails.
When you guys email, I need to know this for future reference. When you email guests so their thing goes off and annoys them, what do you guys say? Because I said like, "Hey Stan," and then in the body of the message I said hi, but I was like, I don't know what Chris is saying. I don't want to be awkward.
I had hi too. I hit him with a double hi.
I'm just,
Okay.
this is only meant to
Good to
make
know.
you insane by having
That's
your computer
exactly what
beat.
Dan, yes, exactly.
I wanna talk to you because the sport is changing so much, Stan. And what happened with Ben Simmons and James Harden, I've been talking about this, but it's been really interesting to watch. Player empowerment gets to the point where Ben Simmons and James Harden can nuke their teams with either mental health stuff or immaturity or just not wanting to be there. That after LeBron and Dwayne and Bosh got together, the result of that in 2022 is those two guys. It basically, Stan, some of what's happening in the NBA feels like AAU stuff where guys can just go grab their buddies and they can wreck franchises. And I can see that alienating older fans, even as I'm not making the argument for it because I'm always for all sorts of player empowerment.
Well, it'll alienate the fans who guys don't go to. But it didn't alienate the Philly fans that they could get James Harden, So listen, fans are passionate and that's great. And they're also very fickle. Like there's no principle other than what makes my team better. So, fans will say, I don't like guys forcing their way out of one city to go to another unless it's coming to my team. Then I'm all for it. So I don't think overall, fans will mind. And it's been, at least from what I've noticed here, like the Brooklyn fans don't seem like all upset that James Harden wanted out. Number one, he hadn't been here that long. Number two, because of health and other things, it hadn't really clicked and worked. So I don't think they really cared that he wanted out.
The overarching on the league, though, when they get $6 million for the All-Star game watching, even though numbers are down everywhere. I have thought about what has happened in that league, and what I'm watching is from Stern, a commissioner you did not like, to Silver, when the power can reach and alter the commissioner because they're the bosses of the commissioner. Silver has given these players a lot of power, Stan, and they're now his boss. Like they're talking about
I don't know that he gave them the power. Like I don't know what David Stern would do about this. I mean, the players, they have the power. They've figured that out. Their agents have done it. Like, what are you going to do? What's the rule you would implement that would keep this from going on? I just don't know if there's anything to do about it. I think Adam Silver has said he recognizes it as a problem, but what do you do if Ben Simmons is willing to sit out and willing to not be paid? What do you do? I mean, he's essentially on strike. I don't know what you do about that.
My point is that Stern banked and changed this league by giving players Bird Magic face stardom. It wasn't about the league like the NFL. It was about stardom. And 40 years later, here we are. You give it to a Ben Simmons, you give it to a Zion. These are young 20-year-old kids that entering a stratosphere of temptation and culture change that is shocking to them. And they can nuke your franchise and trigger mental health conversations. And this happened in that league with that commissioner, the progressive commissioner, who over the last 10 years has helped aid. LeBron gets the 6 days off for the All-Star game. Like, he's working for LeBron. It's obvious he's working for LeBron. That was never the case with Stern, and I'm no Stern fan on his style. But what's happened is, I
don't think it's because of the commissioner. I think that's BS. I think Magic and Larry Bird could have done the exact same thing to David Stern. It's values in our society, number one, and in sports in general, have changed. If Magic Johnson wanted to do the same thing that Anthony Davis did or anything else, he damn well could have done it. And so could have Larry Bird, and there wouldn't have been a thing.
But he wouldn't have, though, Stan. Stan, my point is, they wouldn't have, though. That they had to lead the way to this. All these players, LeBron taught Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady that they actually had power. Even in that league, all these players had to be taught it, and Magic and Bird had to be first. But they would never do that. They respected the game too much.
It's come up through our whole society and in sports all the way down to lower levels. I mean, you know, it's come through. I mean, look at what's going on in college sports where guys transfer all the time. I mean, it's not just the NBA or anything. It's the values here. There's no or very few guys left who are organization guys and team guys and want to build it. And I think more than ever with team, I don't think there's anything the league can do to stop it. I think you've got to now not only get talent, but you got to be very careful of the guys you get. So there's still guys out there, you know, Giannis, Jokic, guys like that, Damian Lillard, who have stuck with their organizations. Those are the guys you're going to have to try to get. And it's not going to be easy to sort through that and figure out who those guys are. But the idea that a commissioner created this, or that a commissioner could have stopped it.
Not created it, not presided over it while it happened, was the leader.
I mean, a lot of things happen. I mean, you know, and the timing, he's there. I don't think it has anything to do with it.
But Stan, that's leadership. That's vision on stuff like that. If indeed it's stuff that ends up hurting your league, I don't know that it will.
But the thing is, like,
well, I don't know if it will or won't, but there's not a damn thing any commissioner could do about it. Leadership, he can talk about it. I mean, it doesn't matter. You think you're going to talk about it and Rich Paul and the other agents are going to say, oh yeah, right. I want to do what's best for the league. I'm not going to worry about what's best for my client. No way. Not a chance. So I don't buy any of that. Now, if you want to talk about other things, and some people have with, you know, discipline in the league and things like that, maybe you could put that on the commissioner, but the player movement, not at all to me. I mean, zero.
And to your argument, Stan, the decision happened under David Stern, which was really the original event when all of this really exploded. But you said all of those things, Stan, like today's society and values, as if what players are doing now is a pejorative and is a negative. Could you not?
No. I don't think it is a negative. I'm with Dan. I'm in favor of player empowerment. I am. I mean, they're the ones who make our league and everything else. So no, I'm not. If I didn't mean to convey that I thought it was a negative. I'm just saying, if people view it as a negative, if people don't want it to happen, I don't think the commissioner can do anything about it. But it is down at every level. I talked to a high school coach, and this was, a half a dozen years back, and he had gotten to the point that he wouldn't carry more than 10 guys on his high school varsity team because he couldn't play any more than that. And the kids, but more importantly, the parents of the kids who didn't play were intolerable. And so he would have parents, we just want our kids on the team, please. And he said, no, because a month from now, that's not going to be the situation. Then it's going to be my son doesn't play enough. I mean, I remember growing up and there was some value, some importance to just being on a team. It's not like that anymore. You know, to turn around the John F. Kennedy quote, right? It's not now asking what you can do for the team. It's what the team can do for you. And that's everywhere now. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's the way it is. And I don't care what level it is. You know, high school.
You're kind of saying it's wrong. You're kind of saying it's wrong.
No, I think there's well, I don't like it at the lower levels because I'm old-fashioned enough to think that there are some values learned from being on a team, even if you're not playing a lot. But at the professional level, I don't have any problem with the player empowerment whatsoever. I mean, guys trying to get to where they want to go, and I'm sort of at times confused by people who do have a problem with it, because everyone in every job, if you want to go somewhere else and you have a better opportunity, that's what you do and that's what you create. You don't say, well, you know, I want to stay loyal to this company even though I've got a better opportunity over there. So no, I have no problem with player empowerment at the professional level.
But when it comes to the next step on what LeBron is trying to do, build a media company, has built a media company, and has realized as well, as quiet as it's kept, Stan, this is a fairly big power vehicle, can take percentages through his company from a guy he met at the airport. They've built a company together that has a lot of clients just based on their relationships. And the same thing the Knicks are trying to do, get a bunch of power and relationships together. They have an agency that can deliver Anthony Davis to LeBron James in Los Angeles that is getting percentages of all of these large contracts, so that I would imagine one day LeBron gets in the ownership game. He's got to kick down the door. It's not going to be the way that Michael Jordan did it. He's going to be unpopular. And that's what we've seen happen over the last 12 years. And you get to a point, Stan, where you sound like a grandpa lamenting for the old days when kids had morals and crawled to the gym on their knees.
No, I told you at this level, absolutely not. I'm all for the players having power. And look, the same rules are in effect in terms of conflict of interest with agents and everything else, but as in everything, there's ways to work around it. And so LeBron isn't technically part of Clutch Sports. And so there's no conflict of interest there. And people are going to find ways around it. I don't have any problem with it. I don't think it is a problem. Some fans certainly don't like it. I think others, like I said, most of it comes down to, are you helping my team? If you are, it's great.
Stan, besides the obvious one, which was Dwight Howard trying to leave Orlando, what was the situation where player empowerment most arrived at your doorstep?
I don't think there's really been another one other than that. And Dwight's was different. Dwight simply, number one, wanted me to be out the door and then wanted to be traded. But I mean, come on now, that stuff has happened forever. But he wasn't trying to get to a specific place. He wasn't withholding his services from playing. I mean, that was the old-fashioned, trade me type of thing, which has happened since we've had pro sports. So even then, I wouldn't say that it had arrived at my doorstep. Nobody had ever tried to force their way out anywhere.
As someone who coached Dwight Howard, does part of you feel bad for the fact that the game, literally he's the guy where when he came in the league, it's like this guy is an all-time talent. And then just like over the course of his career, he went to like a guy that could only be a role player. And I know that like it's hard to feel bad for someone that made as much money as him, but like there's got to be a part of you that's like, oh, that kind of stinks for him.
Well, the part of me that feels bad for him is not what's gone on as a player, because really that came down to injury. There's still big guys who are defenders and pick and roll guys, and Dwight would be able to play in this era and play very effectively. But the back injury has limited his mobility. He's never gotten back to where he was. What bothers me is the hit it's sort of taken on his legacy. For him not to be on the top 75 is an absolute joke. I mean, and that just came down to people not liking him, because there's no way you can even make a case that he doesn't belong in the top 50, let alone the top 75. So those kind of things. And then your guys' old company, ESPN, just came out with their list of the top 75, and they didn't have him on it either. That's a joke. I mean, John Hollinger's the only guy I've seen, and he had him like 34th, I think, that put him where he was. So I do feel bad that because of where he is now, people are forgetting how great he was in the career that he has had. I think that's unfortunate.
Stan, I can understand why you accused us of not having souls, because from one answer you acknowledged that he wanted to get you fired, and the next one you're advocating for him. You're a better man than I, sir.
Well, listen,
And all of us.
but I do think most of us, right? You judge people on the totality of what they do, and Dwight was a great player. I loved coaching him, and we had a great 5 years together. Like, people will ask me from time to time about my relationship with Dwight, and I always revert to, something Pat Riley said all the time. I mean, he said it to the players all the time. A player-coach relationship is a business relationship designed to get a result. And so if people ask me about, my relationship with Dwight, I said, it was a great relationship. I mean, he played extremely well at an unbelievably high level. We won at a high level. That's a great player-coach relationship. I think people mistake that sometimes, and they go to, did the player like this guy and everything else? And quite honestly, I think most of the time we were together, Dwight even liked me. So, but that's meaningless. The relationship produced good results for him and for us, and so successful relationship.
Stan, I've been saying for a couple of months that DeMar DeRozan, and the guys here have been laughing at me, that DeMar DeRozan is worthy of winning the MVP.
It's been me who was laughing at
It's an old style game. He only shoots twos. He barely shoots threes, but he's had a fantastic season, and his team is good, and Zach LaVine is hurt. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh, man.
Listen, no, well, you're not wrong on this. DeMar DeRozan has had a fantastic season, and I love seeing him get the notoriety and the acclaim that he has deserved for a long time. He's been phenomenal. And is it an MVP-worthy season? In a lot of years, it would be. But when you have Jokic and Embiid doing what they're doing, and then Giannis, it's just hard. Like, to me, it's hard to put even Giannis, as great as he's been. I have a problem putting him up there this year with Jokic and Embiid. I mean, Jokic is, to me, a clear-cut MVP. I mean, just look at what he's doing. The fact that his second and third leading scorers haven't played all year. They're in the top 6 in the West. If you look at what they are when he's on the court and what they are when he's off the court, I mean, to me, he's clearly the most valuable player in the league. But that takes nothing away from what DeRozan has done. I just can't put him above those three guys, and certainly not above Jokic.
Stan, we were having a much more important conversation right before you came on. We were discussing farting and whether or not you liked, the Uber driver, right, who's taking the food to your house. You order delivery, he's bringing you the food, and he is farting around your food. Are you, Stan Van Gundy, okay with the Uber driver? Because he's in his car. You got to do what you got to do sometimes, Stan. Are you okay with an Uber driver who is farting in and around your food?
Well, I mean, first of all, I hope my food is packaged to where
Probably
he's not actually farting in my food.
Right.
And then second of all, I don't think I'd ever know about it. If I did, yeah, it would probably disgust me. And but I don't think too many guys are going to show up at your door and drop off your food and say, hey, by the way, I was farting the entire way here.
But you know it's happening, Stan. That's all I'm saying.
But why do we know that? Why do we assume that the Uber
I
drivers
don't know
are just,
that we do know
they're
that.
just regular
We know that.
people?
100% certainty.
Not happening. happening.
Stan,
but-
I delivered pizzas for many, many years when I was in college, and I am telling you, I farted on every single delivery. Okay?
No, you didn't.
Why are you lying about
why-
this?
why-
In this
why-
vicinity.
why does
That's
it
what we're
have to-
talking
It was
about.
pizza.
Why do you
Why?
have
It's Italian food.
Why do you have to take everything to
Dan.
every pizza eaten in the Northeast was farted on by me? Why can't you
Just-
just stop before that and not make it every single pizza I ever delivered anywhere in the world had the scent of
It wasn't Northeast. It was just Long Island. And what I am telling you is that I didn't fart on the food.
just stop.
I'm just in my car and I farted.
Stan, can you
Wait,
tell us?
can we?
about
No,
our
no.
pizza.
This is nonsense. This is immature. We need to get back to the serious stuff. How often in an NBA season, 82 games, Stan, how many times throughout the season would you fart on the bench because the stadium is so loud and you could just get away with it?
So you're standing, right?
the serious mature stuff.
Yeah. How many times?
Per season,
You know,
on average.
I don't have any
What's your stat
idea. I
line?
mean, not even every game. So,
But it's greater than 0.
well, of course it's greater than 0.
Have you ever felt shame because you're going past the bench, you weren't expecting stink, and oh my God, look what you just trailed as you ran after
Someone
the
who paid
referee.
$8,000 for courtside seats.
And not
that's
just
gotten,
that, your players. You just got.
So Stan is standing. You let one out, and everyone's wondering who it is. You know it's you.
No,
You don't say
Stan
anything.
drifts past you. He's the only one walking back and forth. Stan.
Stan.
I don't remember that ever being
Who's the assistant coach you always blamed it on? Steve Clifford looks like a farter.
You did. Did you blame it on Clifford? Yes or no?
No, I don't think I ever blamed it on anybody. I don't remember this coming up. So
Never. It never happened. It never made
I'm
it.
not saying it never happened. I'm saying I don't remember it.
Did Stan coach Big Baby Davis? He looked like a farter.
I did coach Big
He
Baby.
probably let a couple rip, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm not sure that was the main issue. With
Stan's
Big
not going to
Baby.
name a farter. He's not going to name one.
Out of farter.
Yeah, out of farter.
Anyone.
What was the issue of Big Baby Davis?
Thibodeau.
Well, the issues were, they came up later after his playing career. So he was a very emotional guy and has run into some problems since his career ended. So it's unfortunate.
The stock market is dumping, and
Well,
Ukraine is being bombed. You have inserted yourself here in the national discourse as you've seen America go to shit over the last 6 years, and now the economy is feeling it, and there is war. Your thoughts about what's happening on the globe right now as we careen from fart talk to the things happening
To
in
the
the
less
world?
important
The
conversations.
things happening in the
Well,
world.
it's scary stuff. And, I think that the Biden administration is in a really impossible spot because I think everyone agrees on both sides of the political aisle that we don't want to send troops there. And he said we're not going to. And so now your choice are sanctions, and the sanctions will severely impact Russia, but it's going to force energy prices up. We're already with energy prices high and inflation going up. That's only going to increase. Or you don't do anything, okay, and then you're going to get criticized on not standing up to Russia. So he's doing the best he can. I actually think what he's done on this whole thing has been good. He's built a coalition. I think you're going to see most of Europe, certainly the NATO countries, and ourselves impose sanctions that will impact Russia. And from all appearances, Putin doesn't give a damn.
I want to tie some of this to sports because, Stugotz, I regret in my last days at ESPN over the last 6 months that I did not simply create a character, a Colbert-like caricature that was me spouting the opinions of this Nick Adams in USA, who now has said, Stugotz, that John Stockton is a better player than LeBron, Dwayne, and Steph. and this even better than that. He says, and it's not close either.
He's got to be doing a bit.
No,
100% is a bit. It's a bit.
I regret not creating that character my last 6 months at ESPN. Guy who's just trying to go for the Klan demo. I just really push the boundaries on. You're just saying, because this is from the maker of Enes Freedom was a consensus first ballot NBA Hall of Famer before taking a stand against communist China and being blackballed by the league and the media. Like, that's a great character if it weren't real.
Yeah, no, it's the Enes Kanter Freedom stuff has been unreal. I mean, this idea that he's been blackballed, I don't even buy. I mean, he was a third string center in Boston playing like 4 minutes a game, and he got traded. And they traded him to get back a center that they had before, Daniel Tice, who they wanted. And then Houston is in a rebuild, and so they want to play Sengun and Christian Wood and those guys, and they cut Enes Kanter. I mean, it was an easy basketball reason, and he's a great offensive rebounder, but he's a dinosaur in today's game because he's not even the pick and roll guy, like where you're going to throw lobs and things like that. This is a big lumbering guy. We don't see many of them in the NBA. So to the people who think Enes Freedom was this great player and would be in the league otherwise, I mean, I've asked a few of them, well, point out the highly valued guys who play a game like Enes Kanter's in today's game. And the only guy, to me, that would be close would be Marjanovic. And quite honestly, if you're going to go with a big lumbering guy, Boban's a hell of a lot better player than Enes Freedom is.
You took that very seriously. You bypassed first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, that's a joke. And the John Stockton was a great player. I don't know exactly when John Stockton went over the edge, but he certainly did. Like, you don't want to wear a mask. Okay, I mean, I don't see the big deal, but like that would have just been, okay, he doesn't want to wear a mask. But 150 people have died after taking the vaccine, like on the field and stuff. Like, I don't know, John. I think there might have been a couple stories written about that if it had actually happened. I mean, I don't know where he went off the deep end, but damn, it was sad to me. I mean, this was a guy that everybody in the game really admired, and now it's hard to even think about him as a player. You just think about him as a total Looney Tune.
Well, let's go backtrack here for a minute with that, because, Stan, you really respect John Stockton. I'm guessing a young you would have just adored John Stockton as a basketball player, and now John Stockton's not allowed back at Gonzaga, right? Like, he's been banned. One of the greatest player in campus history has been banned. So there must be a portion of this that hits especially heartbreaking to you watching it, given what's happening in this country, meeting some of your basketball, a basketball idol that you would say, like, can you just at least be some semblance of sane here? Do you have to be so far in the fringes that you're just saying things that aren't true at all?
Well, I think he's probably, I don't know of any athlete that's further on the fringe on this than John Stockton is. I mean, okay, so Kyrie doesn't want to get the vaccine. I mean, we can argue about that, but there's a lot of people who have not gotten the vaccine. But 150 athletes have died, like, in competition after taking the vaccine. No, that first of all, there haven't been that many athletes die in competition in the last 25 years, John, let alone from the vaccine. Like, what is he talking about? How does your mind work? And, how did somebody co-opt him that much? I mean, it's sad. And so I'm not going to take anything away from what he did as a player. What he did as a player is still there. It's just hard to even think about it now. When I hear John Stockton's name, I'm not thinking about all-time assist leader, great competitor. I'm thinking total nut job.
What do you think is going to happen with LeBron at the end, Stan? Is he now making the passive-aggressive coding signals that are needed in order to play with your son at the end and just end the fairy tale story going through Los Angeles a few months after saying you would be with the Lakers till the end?
Yeah, I don't know. And there certainly have been signals that he's not really happy. He's gone out of his way to praise coaches and general managers on other teams. And you never know what that stuff means. Is it a passive aggressive play, or is he just trying to give people some credit? I don't know. I mean, he's a very powerful guy in the league, and he's earned that position by what he's done on the court. It's been a very frustrating year for them. The roster they've put together has not worked, in large part because of health, but also the fit hasn't been good, and these guys aren't all what they were when it was 2012. And so, I don't know. I really don't. I don't have any insight into him and into what he wants to do. He has said that he loves the idea of being able to play with his son when his son, is able to play. But I mean, how far away are we from that, and that's going to put LeBron in his, in his 40s. I mean, I don't know. I really don't.
Would you draft his son to get LeBron for 1 year in his 40s?
Yeah, I don't know. What level is he going to be playing at? I don't.
This would be a pretty good level. This
level right here, I guarantee
would be
it.
a fine level.
Well, no, this level would be. And now look, I mean, he's been great. I thought he was in the MVP conversation until the last 2 or 3 weeks before the break. He started to drop off a little. He's been very effective. He's a lot different, though. We're not seeing him attacking the basket. Doesn't do as much of that. A lot more jump shots, a lot more threes. How long is he going to hold up? I mean, we just don't. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. Now, what he will do is he'll draw fans. And so, if you get some team who just needs to put people in the building, sure, draft his son and play LeBron, and everybody will turn out for that, at least for a while.
Before we get you out of here, you have been involved in local politics. You're somebody who is active. You see what's happening in the state of Florida. You've been a resident of Florida for a long time, and I imagine, like me right now, you're embarrassed to be a resident of Florida. You see some of the legislation that is extreme. As somebody who cares about people and decency, Stan, your thoughts about what's happening right now in our state and some of this legislation that's appalling.
Well, in our state, it's not just our state, it's throughout a lot of the country, and particularly the South. Our politics have become extreme. And so Republicans have become convinced in Florida, and so far they've been right, that they don't need to court anybody on the left or even really in the middle. They can win just by turning out their base. And so what their base wants is they want the bigotry, both racial bigotry, misogyny, and certainly hatred against LGBTQ people. They want that. And so a lot of the bills that we've seen have been that. And they really don't care about people economically at the bottom. They care about the wealthy, and they care about corporations, especially who are their donors. And so that's who they work for. I mean, the most appalling thing to come out was Rick Scott, perpetrator of the biggest Medicare fraud in U.S. history, who we've now elected in Florida 3 times because, come on. The biggest Medicare fraud in history. Yeah, let's put him in as our governor and senator. And he just came out with an 11-point plan for America. And he wants to, one of his big things is he does get plenty of bigotry in there. And he gets in the showy fake patriotism of, requiring the pledge at virtually everything. You'd have to have the pledge before your show and stuff, because that's really patriotic. But his big one is he wants the 50% of Americans who aren't paying taxes to have to pay taxes. Now, I don't even know if that's good politically in Florida, where we have a lot of retirees living on Social Security and stuff. He wants them to pay taxes. He wants people on disability to pay taxes. He wants people living below the poverty line to pay taxes. I don't know how that's possible. They don't have any money, okay? But at the same time, he's all for tax breaks for corporations and tax cuts for the wealthy. I mean, it perfectly sums up where the Republican Party is and who they care about. They care about the rich and the wealthy, and they don't give a shit about anybody else.
Nailed the dismount. He said a curse word. He said a shit at the end. Dan, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate you weaving through basketball. You must miss the Nuggets because I saw a tweet from you. The 3 most efficient shots in the NBA in order are free throws.
Wait, hold on, Dan. We got to do a stat of the day. Can we play the imaging?
Yes, let's go ahead and do this. We'll get him out on this.
I thought we were gonna get his top 5 chicken nuggets.
Should we do that too?
I mean, that's what you got me excited for when I heard you say it.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna do. I didn't hear anyone say that.
You said nuggets, and that's right.
Oh,
that's where Chris's mind goes.
That's my bad. Okay,
Yeah.
I could get. What are your top 5 chicken nuggets?
Or
sure,
top 3. Maybe we're putting too much pressure on him.
I'm sure he loves the chicken nuggets.
I mean, they're all the same, quite honestly.
Oh, I will.
Oh.
They're all the same.
Whoa.
I mean,
They're not all the same.
No, I'm not having that.
Stop that.
Like,
I mean, they're not. I mean, look, Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. I mean, you know.
wait, Burger King, not for me, Clive. Like, I would say Wendy's is soaring at the top of that.
Wendy's
list.
and McDonald's are fighting for the top spot.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is right
Those
there.
three.
I don't
Yeah.
do Chick-fil-A. I
Right.
mean, I'm
You're
not a big
conscientious.
boycotter, but Chick-fil-A's stance on gay rights and stuff, I can't do it. I cannot.
Damn it, Stan.
I want to eat some chicken.
What kind of phone do you have? An
Stan,
Apple phone?
Stan,
Jeez,
I don't know what it
Stan.
is. It the opinion?
Wearing
Now
Nikes
I have
right now.
to think when I drive by a
Yes,
Chick-fil-A,
yes,
Stan.
yes, you do.
Oh, and listen, no, I don't mind if you don't,
Right.
because I'm not a big boycotter normally. Like some of my kids are. My daughter will not get gas at a BP station since the oil spill in the Gulf.
Right.
I mean, you know, but
But what if she needs gas and it's the only...
But Chick-fil-A has been actively anti-gay. I mean, they put money into campaigns, you know, that work against gay rights and things like that. It's like I would never, not that I have any hobbies anyway, I would never walk into a Hobby Lobby store. I mean, these, you know.
I mean, Hobby
Right.
Lobby, they're just like pillaging artifacts from the Middle East and keeping them.
Right.
Hoarding them,
But these
allegedly.
people who,
I mean,
they're
that's just
Christian
Michael's
principled-
only.
You
for
can't
me.
go anywhere anymore.
But we're not getting his top chicken nuggets.
No, well, we are, but I just need to go back and apologize around some of these landmines here because he's talking about something serious and I'm busy laughing. And the reason that I'm laughing is because I wish that Chris Whittingham's microphone was turned on so that every time that Stan's computer went off, you could hear him just scream out loud like someone has stabbed him with a joust of some sort in the side of the neck because I want this segment to end. We've got 2 questions left to ask, but I want this segment to end with just Stan giving us the play-by-play. His side of saying out loud him trying to fix this on his computer. I want you to walk him through it, and I want the segment to just end with however long, just Stan talking to himself and to you about getting that goddamn sound off his
Okay,
computer.
Stan.
No,
okay,
but not
here we
yet.
go.
We have 2 more questions.
No,
He
not
wants it
yet,
to end
not
there.
yet,
Yeah.
not
Chicken
yet.
nuggets?
Not
End
yet.
there.
I got to get off here in 1 minute.
Okay,
All
we
right,
got
so
1 minute.
top
Get it all
5
done.
chicken nuggets. He says they're all the same. Stat of the day. Play the long version.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
The 3 most efficient shots in the NBA in order are free throws, layups, and threes. The Phoenix Suns have the 3rd most efficient offense in the NBA. They're 25th in free throw attempts, last in layup attempts, and 27th in 3 attempts. They lead the league in 2-point attempts outside the restricted area. This is from Stan Van Gundy's Twitter account. He misses the Nuggets. What did it all mean? I read it very fast, just trying to get to you, trying to fix your computer.
Just
Well,
control.
what it all mean is you can win the games in a lot of different ways now. And the Phoenix Suns approach is a very old-fashioned one. We're just going to take our time and get a good shot every time down the court. We don't care if it's a 2 or 3, and we're not going to fire up a bunch of BS threes just to get our 3-point attempts up. We'll shoot mid-range jumpers. And they're the 4th best offense in the league and the best team in the league. And I got to go, guys. It's been fun.
We got 10 seconds. Go, Chris.
No, I don't.
Control
I
click the
don't.
mail
Bye.
app.
See ya.
Hit Q. Command Q the mail app. Come on, Stan.